Hello, I'm Pastor Horace Douty in Lexington, Virginia, and each Sunday I bring you a Bible meditation by way of YouTube, and I encourage you, if you appreciate these lessons, that you share them with your friends and that you subscribe to Horace Douty, D-O-U-T-Y, YouTube. Today, the title of the meditation is A Modern Look at Life Eternal. Almost all people on earth have some sort of belief in the existence of life after death. For centuries, the concept was supported mostly by religious faith, but things are changing today thanks to a new branch of science. Quantum physics is proving one by one, ancient doctrines long promoted by the church. For a long time, science and religion were at odds. Not anymore. Science has caught up. As I speak to you today, brilliant minds are delving into basic questions which very few people ever ask. We like to think science can explain everything. However, we now know that our knowledge is far from complete. No one can explain what matter really is, or if it exists. We admit that at least 95% of our cosmos, that is everything, is composed of something called dark matter, and we don't know what that is. There's a lot we don't know. When we speak of consciousness, which I call soul, where does consciousness or soul come from? We're all aware that your being includes something more than flesh and bone. The world had to wait until today to study that force in the laboratory. Only a few years ago, there was little proof of its existence. Today we have overwhelming evidence of spirit or consciousness which exists independent of the body and operates beyond the limits of time and space. Some people call that other dimension heaven. Science is uncovering a new dimension every day. The findings are upsetting what we once held as laws of nature and making many classical physicists extremely uncomfortable because change is painful. Jesus definitely and authoritatively spoke of life beyond death, but he gave very few details. Our story from the Bible is an example. Jesus made it clear that things are different in the other dimension after death. And today we have scientists studying near-death experiences, or NDEs. They have found that your spirit, your soul, or your consciousness was not manufactured in the brain. No. It exists independently, without oxygen, without blood flow, without brain function. This came as a surprise to those who want to believe that everything is linked to the physical. Today, evidence is overwhelming. If you are convinced that everything about you started at conception and ends at death, then you're simply not informed about new and vast proof to the contrary. I suspect that every adult has had some experience which simply cannot be explained by what we call natural processes. And here's a personal example. My nephew, a Marine, spent an awful night in a combat zone in Vietnam because his friends, his buddy, did not realize he was missing when they went back home, went back to camp. It seemed that nothing could save Steve from death because he was exposed. There was nowhere to hide. He was in the rice paddy. And he knew that this was probably his last night alive. Miraculously, he was rescued the very next early morning. But later, Steve got a letter from his mother saying, "Steve, what was happening on such and such a day? Because I had a terrible time knowing that you were in some kind of trouble." That was her actual quote. Some sort of communication and consciousness was connecting them over thousands of miles. Lab experiments show that you can put some of your white blood cells in a growth medium, send them miles away, and that dish of cells responds instantly, faster than the speed of light, to any stimulus that you are experiencing. Obviously, there is something, soul, spirit, something, in every one of your cells, and they communicate in another dimension completely independent of time and space. Such unexplained communication can take place even when the brain and the body are not functioning, as in near-death coma. Thousands of resuscitated patients are reporting an experience common to almost all of them. And here they are. All pain is gone, replaced by deep peace, happiness, and an atmosphere of love. Light is bright, but unreal. The whole experience is comforting and beckoning. The body is left behind, but the person can often view what is happening to his or her comatose body lying there on earth. Past, present, and future are perceived simultaneously, plus all-encompassing wisdom, silent, deep communication with others, living and dead, without words, is common. Another truth is that the patient is often reluctant to leave that beautiful, illuminated dimension and return to an ailing body. And the last fact is that the event is life-changing, deeper perception, and no dread of death ever again. Some of you have had glimpses of such an experience while perfectly healthy. Gifted mystics know how to access this dimension via meditation and solitude. Perhaps you're one of them, reluctant to talk about it for fear of being considered mentally ill. Jesus obviously understood how to enter another dimension through intense and sustained nights of prayer. I suspect scientists will formulate a process making the unfamiliar dimension easier for us to access. We all know about forces around us, unseen and pervasive. The air is filled right here with messages by the millions. Cell phones, radios, television are picking them up like gravity, another mystery. These mysterious waves are in and around us day and night, unseen, unfelt, but very much there. The chair that supports you this minute may feel solid and real, but scientists have long ago agreed it is made up of a swirling medley of atoms and neurons and protons, all in constant violent motion. Can you imagine that? No, you can't. There's a lot out there that you cannot imagine. Science is closing the gap constantly, new findings every single day. I am excited that the new knowledge supports many of the affirmations of Jesus when he spoke about the mysterious energy of faith that can move mountains and life beyond death. The familiar creed we say makes some odd statements. What do we mean by communion of saints? Think about it. What is that? Well, the Bible tells you. You can look it up. What is consciousness? It comes from somewhere beyond normal sensing. Upon the death of the body, this soul apparently returns to another dimension, and the Creed calls it the communion of saints, or souls. Some scientists refer to it as the pool of consciousness, and as we gain more knowledge, these strange terms will both change and simplify, becoming more familiar, more understandable. Christians will likely continue to use such terms as God and heaven and resurrection. But these words mean more today as laboratories continue to test and to prove and to measure forces once affirmed only by faith. I welcome this progress. I perceive it as our Creator opening the windows of heaven, bringing science and religion together again. Today, I can share good news. When your body dies, something about you does not stop. It continues. And it is vital and essential. Your senses will be replaced by something else, but it is conscious and essential. What gives me such assurance? Science and religion, both, are affirming it. People can try to deny the new and the old affirmations, but to do so they must close their minds to the overwhelming evidence. The ice on which the cynic stands is getting thinner every day. I thank God for knowledge and for faith. Amen, and God bless you.